All right, welcome into hour two, everybody. Let's keep this train rolling here, man. The chat has been on fire. This has been awesome. Trying to see if there's any other ones that we missed here. Oh, I like this one. Drew D says, if we want the Chiefs to get knocked out, we have to get Taylor Swift to break up with Travis Kelce. So here's what we're going to do. A-Fam.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
A-Fam, you handsome devil. We see that mustache, bro. We need to get you to reach out to Taylor Swift, all right? You're going – that's your mission. I don't know if you're married or not. I apologize if you are. It doesn't matter. The Packers are more important than your marriage, sir. We need you to call Taylor Swift ASAP, all right?
Well, no, come on, Clay. They're not going to – her era tour just ended, bro, just in time for the playoffs, just in time to have every game at home, put her up in the box, have all the Swiftie views while we're there. So let's see. We'll add up all the Swifties viewing all the playoff games. The only bad thing is they get the first round bye, or else we'd have another couple 100 million watch that first playoff game, and then roll it right into the Super Bowl, get us a three-peat, and then – we'll go check that box, and then we'll be squared away.
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
Tim's face that entire time we were talking Taylor Swift was priceless. I almost took a picture. He was just like this.
He's like, please.
Please, let's put me out of my misery here. Put me out of my misery. Prince in the chat said, Hussey got suspended. I don't think he did. I didn't hear that. Did you guys hear that?
I've heard several rumors that the crew was supposedly suspended. I have not been able to confirm this, so – a bunch of people repeating the same lie does not make it true. So if anyone's got actual proof that this happened, I would love to see it because I don't know. We haven't seen that in a while, right? I do know that that's, like I said, I think that's pretty much the only recourse, right? You can get enough complaints and teams can file with the league office. They do a review. They, look at it probably the same way we look at film, right? 3 or 4 game saturation. Look at calls and no calls, and if they think you're full of crap, then they can suspend you or remove you. But I don't know if that really happened, though. I haven't been able to find any confirmation.
Holmes said, yes, I read the ref got suspended by the league.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Where, though?
Crazy. Maybe, but it's probably because Clayton was sitting there under the fire just feeding it oxygen, trying to get he is just trying to cook this dude in the pot. Yeah.
The whole time, man.
That's it. So you keep the gas down, then what are they going to do? If you have that many people, problem is like we weren't able to get that out 5-10 years ago. Like you weren't, like you talked about it with your buddies and then it was over. Now with Twitter, with X and Twitter and all that, we can. That same thing gets passed around. Everybody sees it. It's over.
I would just ask Holmes, where did you read this? Like, give us a link or a site, because it does make sense, right? Do you think the NFL would want to just like scream to the world, "Hey, we suspended our officials from Thursday night's game"?
Yeah, but we have to put it on. Like, we have to actually write it down physically and notify.
They did a little press release and it got shoved to the back of the storylines and buried somewhere. So, I'm not saying it's not true. I haven't been able to, corroborate this officially.
Yeah, and listen, man, as we used to say back home in Harlan County, Kentucky, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. You know what I'm saying? Let's just roll with it here. So, Prince in the chat, hour 2. This hour separates the men from the boys. It does. I just took a quick glance on Twitter. I didn't see anything about Hussey and those officials getting suspended. Again, it doesn't mean it's not out there. Just a quick search while we were live here. I didn't see anything. So if you guys find it, let me know, DM it to me, something like that. But let's see here. Joseph in the chat. God, family, and the Packers in that order, unless it's the Super Bowl. Amen, sir. Amen. Right. Hey, let's talk some pass rush. Y'all want to do that? That sound good?
Do it.
Yes. All right, so I'll put a tweet out here, and then we're going to share some next-gen stats on NFL Pro. So this tweet, I said Rashawn Gary and Lukas Van Ness continue to improve their pressure percentage. According to GPS tracking from NFL Pro, Rashawn Gary leads the team comfortably at 13%, while LVN is now at 9.5%. Pittsburgh Steelers pass rusher TJ Watt is currently at 10%. So Gary has a full 3% lead in pressure percentage over TJ Watt this year, who many people think is the best pass rusher in the game, right? Again, a lot of chipping going on both Gary and him. You got to watch the tape to get a true evaluation. But the fact that LVN now is about to crack into the 10% mark, guys, it's huge. Now, you guys know we did a deep dive last night and continue with the defense. And the positions we came up with that we felt like were needs, and this is all strictly based off PFF. This isn't our end result. This was just here's what PFF shows. So now what we've begun doing, and I'll have a much more detailed version of this later on when we get to the offseason. There's real football going on right now, so we don't want to dive into this too deep. But as it sits right now, we were saying we need an edge defender. We need a three tech, a defensive tackle, right? We need a center, unless Elton kicks over to center. And I feel like we need the linebacker of the future to go along with Edgerrin Cooper if indeed they do let Quay Walker walk in free agency. Again, he may stick. He may be here. We don't know. That's just based off of the PFF evaluation. That's how we felt. And we also felt like we probably needed a slot corner if we're going to keep Keyshawn on the outside moving forward, seeing where he's adjusted really, really well playing on the outside. So with that being said, with LVN about to crack into that 10% mark, and according to PFF, LVN's horrible, right? But then you look at the pass rush percentage, the pressure percentage and pass rushes. It's like, okay, when you crack that 10% mark, you're one of the better pass rushers in the league. So what's most important there, right? The full aspect of the game, is it just the pass rush? Again, LVN, this is his first year as a quote-unquote starter, and it just begun because we traded Preston Smith earlier this year before the deadline. What are your guys' take on that and the fact that LVN is just 0.5% behind TJ Watt right now in pressure percentage, and also Rashawn Gary leading TJ Watt by a full 3% there?
I think it's exciting because we always want our first-round picks to work out. We want them to be out on the field right away. We didn't get that with him. He was our highest first-round pick in the past 5 years. I just want to maybe shoot that out. That's probably wrong, but like we spent a high first-round pick on the dude. We want to see something out of him. I'm happy that he's starting to grow into it, and I think that his
highest first-round pick since Quay Walker, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
and I think he was higher than, wasn't he like 13? I want to say he was like 13 or something. So
yeah, you're right. He might have been higher overall.
Oh, here we go. Round one, pick 13 in 2023. That is a early draft pick for us. We are not normally picking that early, so we want to. You always expect the top 10 to hit, right? So I think that a top 13 would be ideal for him to hit, even if it takes a year or two. I say give him that full rookie contract, see what you got out of him. But I love that he's trending in the right direction.
Yep, definitely. And when you look at the pressure percentage here for the entire Green Bay Packers defense, you want to filter out the noise. Keyshawn Nixon, Isaiah McDuffie, Xavier McKinney, Eric Wilson, Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Javon Bullard. Obviously, those are guys that are going to be firing from the nickel position, from the linebacker position, whether it's Will or Mike. They're going to be – that percentage is going to be much, much higher than others, right? There's no doubt about that. So you got to kind of filter that noise out and go, okay, who's rushing the quarterback down in and down out for the most part? Rashawn Gary, 13% there. You've got Lukas Van Ness at 9.5%. Then you've got Kingsley Enagbare at 8.9%. You love to see that. If you can get both those guys over 10%, you really like the fact that you've got a swing edge there that can come in rotation and get just as much, if not pressure, on the quarterback. Next is TJ Slayton at 8.8%. All right. Then you've got Devontae White at 8.6%. And then Brenton Cox Jr. at 7.8%. Preston Smith at 7.1%, Kobe Wooden at 6.8%, and then Kenny Clark at 6.6%. So when you look at the interior defensive line too, we'll kind of take it all into consideration here. Who is your best pass rusher on the interior? Right now, it's TJ Slayton from a percentage standpoint. Next, it would be Devontae White. Now, the problem with Devontae White is we know his run defense and his tackling ability is a little suspect, right? So that's what I mean by he's not that true dominant three tech. He is someone who can rush the passer, and that's important. Might be the most important thing. But I don't think we need to stop looking for our next, three tech. That guy that can be Kenny Clark in the first few years where Kenny was just dominating, right? So
yeah, I agree. I think that's what separates TJ from Devontae too, is that TJ's a little bit better tackler and better against the run than Devontae Wyatt. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And I was just trying to see that. I mean, we're asking TJ to be a run block. What are we asking him to do? I think that he's doing decently for being split down the middle. But yeah, we need Devontae if he's going to excel at pass rush. You got to excel at it. If not, I mean, we've talked about, we need to find a three tech, or somebody needs to step up and show Jonathan Ford, if you're out there, if that's something that's going to be something. Let's hammer it, right? Let's give it a shot. I feel like that's not a bad thing. Let's figure out what we have. I was trying to pull up LVN's snaps because somebody was asking in the chat, does he go to the 3-tech? Dwayne asked if he goes to the 3-tech like in college. All I've seen for D right tackle and D left tackle, he played 6 snaps on D left tackle, like the left tackle on the defensive end, and then he played 10 on the right tackle. So it's not like he's getting a lot of reps there. He's sitting at right end and REO, so right edge outside, I believe, and then a couple of right outside backer. So he's hanging out on the right side, and he's only gotten, looks like, 10 attempts in at right tackle. So I don't think that's something we're trying to chase. I think that it should be something we should try. I wouldn't be opposed to giving him a whole game in there to see what happens. But then you're asking, all right, who's going to step in? Then we're going to be Rashawn and Kingsley. Then our resets, Mosby and Cox. And are we ready for that? Is that who they want out there? I just don't think they trust the pairing.
Right. And I think what you're going to see is when you go to dime sets and you're in a situation where it's like a 3rd and 12 or a 3rd and 14, I could see them kicking him to the inside in that 3-tech. Yeah. And bring out what we call your NASCAR package, right, where you got just all defensive ends rushing the quarterback. I could see that being the case from time to time. But the reality is he is the right end on this team. And typically when they spell him and take him out, they kick Gary over there to right end and bring in JJ and Igbare at left end. That's how they like to do that, right? And then when they take Rashawn out from time to time and they leave LVN in, that's when you'll see like a Aaron Mosby or a Brenton Cox Jr. get shuffled in at left end. So they really like that hockey line. Like you always say, Emilio, they like to keep those guys rotating in fresh. And that's kind of how that usually plays out. So yeah, to answer your question, Dwayne, I haven't noticed him at 3-tech much. I wouldn't expect that moving forward. I really would, especially when you play teams like Detroit where you'll be in a 3rd and 12 and they'll run the ball, won't they, Tim? They ain't scared to run the ball.
They're not afraid of it, exactly. And on 4th and 6 too, they don't care. They'll do it again for you. We've seen him move LVN a little bit. He's been shaded to the inside on some of those overload looks, but nothing like playing a pure 3-tech or anything like that. I don't think they're gonna go that route with him.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I don't either. Let's look at Rashawn Gary real quick. All right, take a quick glance at his numbers over the last couple of years. There he is. Again, that's me when I'm looking through the blinds, waiting for the pizza delivery guy to pour down the driveway right there. That's me. Like, where the hell's that pizza at?
That's Clayton going, I said extra pepperoni.
Right, man.
Where are the cannolis?
Got a stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut the other night, boys. Let me tell you something, man.
You were hurting, Linda?
Oh yeah, extra pepperoni, extra cheese. They got caramelized onions. All right, so we did the caramelized onions, and we did mushrooms. I was hurting bad, Linda. I was hurting
extra pepperoni, extra cheese, and the onions.
I said, wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
I said, throw a little extra cholesterol on that too.
Yeah,
need a little bit more of that. So, Rashawn Gary, let's focus in on quarterback pressure percentage. Okay, 2022, 19% was his pressure rate. Now we know tears his ACL, right? Last year he comes back from that. He finished the year at 17.4%. We know this year
comes back from the ACL like an absolute machine. Let's not let anyone forget about how quickly he got back from that massive knee injury.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. And then this year, we know every pass rusher on the team took a huge dip, right, on pressure percentage. And we've pointed out that's probably the reason that you're a top 5 rush defense in terms of yards per carry allowed, right? You're really keying in on the run. You're not getting overly aggressive. Now, this last game, what did we do? We got aggressive, and we seen them gash us for at least 2 explosives, one of which went for 20 yards because it was either Carl Brooks or Kobe Wooden that got way upfield real quick. The edge defender did the same thing. That's the problem with being too aggressive. It's give and take. So I wouldn't be surprised personally if you see the pressure percentage start to dip down a little bit as we really key back in on, hey, look, when we play these running teams, got to protect our rush lane. Don't get too aggressive, right, with this one gap approach. But again, I'm still leading the team at 13% this year. I thought that was interesting just to take a quick look at that. Anything you guys want to add to that in terms of Rashawn Gary here with the pressures. And we could pull the pressures too if you guys want to watch a little bit of the tape. But what I thought we would do is look at Lukas Van Ness over Gary personally. I'd like to see his last few pressures.
Yeah, no, I'd like to look at LVN too, but I think Gary's just climbing back into it, man. I think he's just saddling up, ready for a run here. I think he's just like everybody else in this team. We somehow get hot at the end of the year. Maybe we need to hammer that out next year. But we've gone through a coach change and a new defense, and I'm not mad at his production that he's putting out there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that was Gary. Let's drop that down, and let's take a look at TJ Watt. We were talking about TJ Watt, right? Gary's got 3% more pressure, higher pressure rate than TJ Watt. And at the moment, check out TJ Watt here. 2022, only 11.6 pressure percentage, okay? 2023, it jumped to 13.7%. And then this year, it's back down to 10%. So 13.7%, right, was his best pressure percentage in the last 3 years, including this year, okay? Now, if you go back to 2020, he was an absolute dog, 17.6%, much like Gary was there, right? What was it, 2 years ago? But, I mean, you're talking about his pressure percentage slightly going up in 23 and then dropping significantly in 2024. The point is, I think we would all agree TJ Watt's one hell of a pass rusher, right?
Right.
Like nobody's looking at his pressure percentage and go, oh man, what's wrong with TJ Watt? Most of the time it's because of the sack numbers being so high for TJ Watt. Well, let me tell you something. The sack numbers typically are indicative of them being able to scheme him a free shot on the quarterback or a singled up, opportunity to just beat a one-on-one and get to the quarterback. We, showed earlier in the year, Rashawn Gary obviously was being chipped third most in the league. Far above TJ Watt on that list, by the way, and Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. And again, you go back to the look at what Greg Cosell said. If you want to know the true value of a pass rusher, you look at the tape and go, how many resources are teams allocating to stopping that pass rusher? And again, that list was, it was a few weeks ago now. I haven't seen anybody update the list yet, but he was being chipped third most in the league. And again,
like Dwayne says in the chat, what's the chip rate though? You got to consider those factors.
Absolutely do. Yeah. And again, with TJ Watt earlier this year, when we looked at those numbers, he was like 5 or 6 spots below Rashawn Gary in chip rate. So that explains why his sack numbers are up a little bit more than Rashawn Gary's, if Rashawn Gary was warning a little more. And again, they move TJ Watt around a lot. And you've seen us start to do that with Gary like 4 or 5 weeks in the season. We're putting him in the middle of the formation and having him kind of do a little bit of touch spy and occupy those double teams and let other guys get freed up. So
yeah, I'd like him to bring back his crossover, the little hezzy up front, and I think we need to bring that back a little bit more often. I mean, that's what's going to put a little fear, a little bit of a little bit of distraction in the O-line, get them all kind of confused. How often do you see Gary standing up over the center? That's something I think we need to dabble in a little more.
I agree. Especially if you're running a stunt or something, you have them line up there, let our guys, run a stunt, and then back off the edge or something.
Even if he starts there, just to I mean, we don't even need to call a play for him being in the middle if you don't want to. But as we break the huddle, have him standing there, just kind of messing with him for a second, then jump and get back to your spot.
Drop Quay Walker back and let Rashawn mug the A gap or something.
There you go.
I'm there. I love it.
Then all you have to do is hop over a gap over Kenny and go.
Yep.
Heard it from a fan right here.
All right, so here is LVN with his pressure percentage, and we've actually got it broken down by game. So he struggled bad with against the Lions there last week. There's no doubt about it. Only a 5.9 pressure percentage. But look at his game versus the Dolphins, 26.7% pressure rate. And then the week before against the Niners, a 20% pressure rate. The week before against the Bears, 11.1% pressure rate. And then the first matchup with the Lions was 9.1% pressure rate. So let's go to the pressures in the Dolphins game, and let's just hit the tape here real quick. I'll see if I can get this pulled up to where we can actually see it somewhat decently at the internet.
Brett Favre doing here? I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass.
Let's see if we can get this to pop up. I got more windows open than a trailer park right now, boys. So it's bad.
A lot of plays on that Dolphins tape, though. It's taking a while to load.
That could be it, Tim. I don't think it is, but that could be it. See if we can get it to refresh here. I really like to see those in that Dolphins game because he did. Look at that. Oh, no.
Too many pressures. Too many pressures to display. That is just –
That's what it was. He broke it. I think he broke it, boys. He broke it. Let's go to I think if it sits on that screen for a while too, sometimes that will happen. So
it just times out. Yeah, I've had that happen to me.
Let me see if Green Bay will pull up. If the leaders on Green Bay's will pull up, we'll just go to LVN's pressures that way. Hopefully this will work. We go to LVN, Lukas Van Ness, quarterback pressures, 18. Come on, baby. Come on, NFL Pro.
Come on now.
It's been sitting there just as long. I think it did time out. All right.
That's terrible.
I'm going to try to open it in a separate window. You guys talk for a minute there on this pressure, Rick.
Yeah, I think Coach Lind over here has been talking about how LVN is an edge, and I think he said against run teams and QBs that can run.
Yep.
Which I think is very true. And then Dwayne was talking about the chip rate. And then Joe was talking here. I said, I wish we would just use a linebacker to attack the QB. That's his only job. Not in
the athlete system, though.
Talk about a linebacker that probably deserves a little bit of burn. Mr. Hopper, can we get him just a little snuggled onto the field there? I mean,
see, there's a good point. Like, there's a guy you could probably say, put the rookie out there and just, tell him to cut loose and, go after the QB.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I really wouldn't be. We took him, third round? I would not be mad at it. He's on special teams. He's played in just about every game, I think, on special teams. Not getting any reps besides the end of the game a couple games ago. So I like how he plays.
I do feel like those two go off hand in hand, right? Like we talk about interior pass rush or our edge rushing. It's like, man, when you send those Mike Fires or you send a Will Fire, it seems to add momentum to the guys inside. We saw Kenny get a sack against Miami off of pressure by Quay Walker.
Yeah,
coming up the middle. So maybe there's some logic to that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying take him out instead of McDuffie or Wilson at this moment, but I'm saying cut 4 snaps from McDuffie and 4 from Wilson and, put whatever Coops was going to be, and let's just see where he's at it. Thank you, Coach. Yeah, and let's get Ola Home Depot in here, and let's let him cook. I mean, we don't have Javon. If you want a new slot, put Oladipo in there and just go to town. I mean, that's it.
Look, Coach Len over here cooking, and Jonathan Ford and Kalen King. All these guys need reps. Let's go.
You get a rep, and you get a rep.
You get a rep. Wouldn't it be the time though? Like we get one win, or I mean, even if we're chasing it, we're in a good position. Playoff wise, obviously we still need to win and clinch it. But would you be opposed to getting a couple of those guys in, trying to get them reps now, rather than Week 18 against the Bears, against the Bears, just nonchalant or whatever we're doing with them?
I think that's a good point. Here's LVN, his 4 pressures against the Dolphins. You can see he's playing right in. I love this set right here too, where they go really wide with the D tackles, really fans that offensive line out. And if they're going to go with a 5-man protection, that center is just sitting there blocking air. You absolutely love it. Let's watch LVN though. Just a straight bull, slide back inside, let Carl come right up the field. Great job block shedding right there, right?
That's exactly how Rashawn had a sack last game. Was get upfield on Sewell, shake him, and get underneath.
Yep, so there's a sack for LVN here. If it auto plays, we should see all of these. There should be 3 more pressures from LVN. Again, right in, wide 9 set. Love that they got, I think that's Carl Brooks on that side playing a 4-eye. So it really, really makes that tackle have to kick way out, and maybe the back even helps. Let's see if they get any help on this play. No help. Oh, look at the stunt. TE, you see it?
Yep.
So tackle jams outside. LVN coming on a little rip move. There's the pressure. Made him get the ball out quick. Great job by McDuffie on the backside, making the tackle.
Fought through a hold really well there. Nicely done.
Yes, he did. Yeah, and again, that we've talked about that at nauseum. The call now, the rule book is if you use a rip move, they can hold, and it's just wild to think that they can grab people by the throat and everything because they.
Yeah, it's basically them saying, "Oh, if you're beat, then just hold them."
Right, exactly. So you'd like to be able to coach the rip move out of them. If there's one thing every year when we watch football and we go through an entire NFL season, there's always 1 or 2 things I come away with going, man, that really changed this year. That was significant. That's the one thing that sticks out to me the most is they are not going to call holding at all. I don't care. Like in that Kansas City game, it wasn't even a rip move and the dude was on his back. The guard was on the defensive tackle's back, and they still didn't call a hold. So they're damn sure not going to call it against the rip. So here's the another pressure. This in a goal line situation here. Let's check it out. Where's LVN? So here you go. Here's a good example. Actually, no, he's wide 9. It was hard to tell because they got that extra tight end in. So he's actually playing what we would call, most people call a wide 9. It'd really be a 4, a 6. So you would call it a 7. Some would call it a 7. Others call it a wide 9. It is what it is. But you see LVN over there. Takes on the tackle, right, straight up. Look at him drive, right to the quarterback. So he's got a hell of a motor. I love that Gary kind of forced the quarterback up in the pocket right into that. You see Gary coming around the edge?
Yeah, and this is what we talk about with Rashawn, right? Things that don't necessarily show up in the PFF grade or the stat column, but, contributions to the game and to the team. And I love watching this, man. Like you said, LVN, high motor, like a guy that never quits on a play, ever. He's going to play to the whistle every down, every snap he gets, and you love to see it.
Yeah. If we're showing this as a pressure too, let's see. I think this is a Brenton Cox makes a play here, but let's see. Where's LVN on this play? Is that him standing right there? No, that ain't LVN.
No.
Where's he at? They may have made a mistake unless he's on the inside there.
No, that is him standing up.
It is. Yeah, you're right. So look, straight bull rush, right? There you go. So
wow.
Again, holding his own, man. Holding his own. And then here's the one pressure against Detroit. Let's take a look at it real quick. You see LVN out here, wide 9 again against that left tackle. This against Skip, right? Oh, I like it. See, there's the rip. So you see the tackle's holding him, right? Evidently in the rule book now, that is not a hold because he used a rip move. So you actually seen a slap. It looked like he swipes and then uses a rip. Watch him slap the outside shoulder, bang, and then use a rip. But again, nice pressure there, right? He's right on him according to GPS. And again, what result of the play? Incomplete, right? I can see the look on everybody's face. They're like, how is that not a hold? I know it's frustrating as hell, right? That you can just, there it is, hold. But now the other hold in the middle there with Carl Brooks, let's see what happens there. See Carl Brooks shed right here?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Beat like a drum.
Did he use he used an arm over. He used a swim. So this should have been called a hold. See him hooking? Look at that.
Both refs are conveniently looking at LVN.
Yeah, right here. Look. It's just crazy, man. So anyway, we're over that though. But again, LVN starting to heat up. You see 4 pressures in one game there against the Dolphins, and obviously getting the sack in that game as well. Pretty cool, man. So I'm liking where we're sitting. Again, we're trending in the right direction. The big thing for me though, let's hit on a negative aspect, and the reason that I feel like we truly do need a 3 tech. Let's go to Kenny Clark's numbers here, and if you look at Kenny Clark's pressure numbers, pressure percentage, he is at 6.6%. Okay. So again, we've talked about some of that is from the way that we're playing with that touch spy early in the year, right? So hopefully that'll continue to get better as they maybe turn him loose a little bit more. But again, the name of the game is to win the ball game. I could care less about the stats. This is what we got to gauge it off of, though. Look at here. 2022 under Joe Barry, 11%. 2023 under Joe Barry, 11.1%. First year under Hafley, 6.6%. Okay. This is his lowest pressure rate he's had since he's came in the league. Okay. So, take that for what it's worth. His pressure percentage is the lowest it's ever been. Now, when you talk about the run stops, and a stop essentially is you prevented I can't remember the exact definition, but it's something along the lines of you prevented the ball carrier from making a significant gain. So it's probably like less than 2 yards or 2 yards or less type thing, right? When you look at his run stops, because people are asking, well, how's Kenny look in the run game? His run defense grade is just as bad as his pass rush grade, according to PFF. And then when you look at the stops in 2021, 38, 2022, 35, 2023, 35. This year he's got 22. So he's probably going to finish fewer than he had, last year. So it is what it is, right? That's just something that it's going to be part of it. Moving forward, is he done? This is the wall. Kenny finally hit the wall. We know he's been playing for quite some time. Started really, really young in the league. Many people would look at him as age and go, oh, he's just whatever he is, 28, 29 years old. Yeah, but he's played an extra 2 years compared to some other players, right?
Yep.
So you'd really kind of look at it like he's almost like he's 31, 32. So that comes into play too.
It's true. Kenny was a guy too, early and often thrown into the fire his first couple of years. So he's had a shorter learning curve than most. I would agree with that. So I think you got to put a little bit more wear and tear on those on them tires there with Kenny Clark.
Yeah. You burn him up real quick with the six sacks back-to-back years, first 2 years, and then drop to 2, 4, and then
Then you had 3 years in a 34 jam basically, and now going to the 4-3. So you're asking more than average for a guy like that, I think.
Yeah.
All things considered, I think it could be a lot worse, honestly. I mean, Kenny's not like a liability on this defense. It's just he's not where we'd like him to be, which is where he was when he was younger.
If we can get him to 8.5%, 9% before the end of the year, are you happy with Kenny this year?
I mean,
go ahead, Tim.
I'm not upset. Not upset with him. I don't know about happy, but how do you make a Packer fan like me happy other than bringing Lombardi home every year?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If I were to answer that question, I could give a rat's ass about the sacks, man. That's just me. I want consistency. I want consistency in the pass rush, right, with the pressure percentage, and I want you to be fundamentally sound stopping the run. And again, let's do this. Let me hop back out real quick, and I'm going to see if we can find some of his run stops, because I feel like he's played well these last 2 games. He only had 1 pressure against the Lions, but you guys know Kenny had a really good grade there against the Lions, right? So he's had 22 stops this year, and I'm just going to go to the tape here real quick, and we'll get it on the screen in just a second. Let me just make sure that I can pull this up. If we go to the Lions, so here you go, bang. We talked about what run stops are, right? It's basically you prevented the ball carrier from having a significant gain. So it's like, think of it like 3 yards or less, something along those lines, right? You actually stopped the ball carrier from gaining yards or significant yards. So you see here against the Lions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops in that game. All right, so let's start with this one, and it should roll automatically all the way through this. Let's see what Kenny did in the running game. Again, he only had 1 pressure against the the Lions, but you also notice he had a really high PFF grade. Let's see if we can figure out why. Here's Kenny. Let's see what tech he's playing pre-snap. To me, it looks like he's going to be playing a 2-eye, so he's on the inside shoulder of the guard, right, at left defensive tackle. I love how he leaned his body into that. Did you notice that?
Yep.
And look, run laterally, bang. I mean, he clobbered the running back. Great play there. Single-handedly.
He got skinny as soon as the snap happened. He just turned and got in there.
Yep. All right, so now on this play, that's him right here, right? So once again, playing 2-eye. So people were expecting him to play a 3. He's not even playing 3-tech. They're allowing, for the most part, Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, those guys are playing more of a 3-tech than Kenny. Kenny's playing more of that nose still.
Which lends more fuel to your point, right? We need a 3-tech in Green Bay.
Yep. And here's a little misdirection. Look at Kenny at the point of attack. Watch him chase this down. Oh, Marty, what a hit. Could you imagine taking that hit seriously? Watch Kenny the whole way. He's being double-teamed, right? Watch him fight through the double team, and watch this hit.
Hello.
He felt that.
Stuck him.
All right, so there's another
dude got up like
On my knee.
This might be my favorite. Look at this right here. Kenny playing that.
Is this the one? Is this the sack?
I think it is. Let's see. I don't know. It might be a running play. Let's watch Kenny. Look at Kenny get the thing I'm noticing, Emilio, Tim. Him getting skinny, getting sideways, right, and splitting that gap.
You think that's because he's gap? We're playing one gap, right? So he knows that he's got that gap. How fast can I get up and through that gap to make a play?
Yeah, this was him and Rashawn Gary. That's what this play was.
Yep.
Okay, I remember this one.
Bang.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it also has to do with what you're saying too, Clay. Is like getting off that blocker, right? Like if I'm skinnier, it's a smaller surface area. I'm a smaller target. I can squeeze through. I mean, he puts himself right in position there, off the blocker, and makes the tackle. Right. And one squeeze through too. I mean, how can you get your hand to block a dude when he's
when you got one arm on him as he's already passing you. So, you're going to try to force holds. We're going to and Skipper got blown up there. Watch Quake come in there and just get a little ding on him too.
That's what we were talking about, why gap integrity is so important, because a lot of times if you just get that pressure and beat your guy, even if you're not the one making the play, like you talk about trying to make an arm tackle or get off a block, you already know you got 2 or 3 guys coming in behind you.
Right. And I'm not mad at Keyshawn right here on this play either. Just go in there and just sell your body out. You took a crack back to the back of the shoulder pads. That's a block in the back, but no problem.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We didn't see anything.
We'll take it. You took out what is that? 2 or 3?
Yeah, 2 linemen, and you took out the one who blocked you in the back. Perfect.
Yeah, we'll take it. So Keyshawn occupied 3 blockers. Beautiful.
And notice our boy Gilbert Brown 2.0 there, TJ Slayton. Watch him absolutely annihilate the offensive line. That offensive lineman reaching around on the ground. You see him?
Yep.
Like, oh God, what was that? He just completely blows him up.
I love it. If I ever open up a nightclub, TJ Slayton's my first pick for bouncer, for sure. That is a definitely get off the bus type of dude right there.
Yeah. So again, you wondering why Kenny graded out so well against the Lions. It was definitely the run defense in that specific game. It feels like it anyway. Here we are now. He looks like he's going to play a little 4-eye. So he's out here wide. This looks like a little bit of a NASCAR. Oh, check this out. This is awesome. So you got Rashawn Gary wide 9 right. Kingsley Enagbare is currently standing up in a 4-eye on the same side, right? Over here you got Kenny lining up in a 4-tech, and look who's standing up. Right now, Devontae Wyatt's standing up.
Yep.
How cool is that? Devontae Wyatt standing up. That's freaking awesome. And then you see Enagbare going to get in the 3-point stance, and here comes Wyatt. All right, just a quick pass. So not a whole lot going on there. I wonder.
Could you imagine Hafley's willingness to mix things up with this defensive front, which is something we didn't really see with Joe Barry at all.
And now watch Kenny on this play. Kenny's playing a 4-tech. It's going to be a quick smoke screen, right? Sidearm pass. Look where Kenny's at. What you makes the tackle. Look at Kenny. Bang.
Yep.
Let's go, dude.
Fired up too.
Yeah. Kenny had a game. Oh, God, I hope that continues, man. And Tim, like what you just said, and I appreciate the compliment there saying that I called it, but like I just now noticed, like, hey, go get a 3-tech. Spend some resources on getting a true 3-tech. Let Kenny continue to play nose. And it's not that I think Kenny is this awesome player right now. It's obvious he's having a down year. But the point is, he's under contract. You already made that decision. You bought the groceries. You got to put the damn things in the fridge. You can't just say, oh, well, we'll go get some more groceries.
Left the milk in the truck, so we'll
yeah. We don't want to do that.
Right. So the point is, go get a 3-tech. Devontae Wyatt will be back next year. He may pop, and you go, hey, you know what? Let's re-sign him to a deal, right? If he doesn't, you covered your rear end by drafting another 3-tech and potentially the 3-tech of the future, and then you get into next year and you can make a decision. Okay, we're not gonna keep Kenny for that 3rd year, right? And we could probably cut him, free it up, do whatever you got to do to free up some cap. And now you've allocated some resources to that true 3-tech, and you can continue moving forward, building your roster. So,
we've committed this much and invested this much in Kenny, right? We drafted him, brought him in here. Why not build around him? We already signed the extension, put some pieces in play. Let's get another season or 2 or 3 at best with Kenny out there doing what he does best, and then move on from there when the time comes and have somebody kind of waiting in the wings.
Yeah,
he's our longest tenured Packer.
Yep.
I mean, hey, he deserves a of respect. I get that he's not doing it right, but let's not cut the dude's legs out from under him. Let's give him the rest of the game.
Kenny the last Ted Thompson draft pick on this team?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
So, I mean, because we all won't even remember the conversation of cutting on Kenny if he goes out and tears up the next 4 games, gets us in, makes 2 big plays or whatever. And, you get those kind of plays in the playoffs, that recent memory is going to carry him through. I think, a couple of nice performances coming into the playoffs and in the playoffs would carry him through the offseason, and, we wouldn't be on his back as much.
Playoffs?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
All right, so Kenny on this situation is a 3-tech right here. So here's Kenny in the 3-tech. Let's see how he handles it, okay? He's in between the guard and tackle. Quick punch. great job holding your gap integrity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So he's capable at the 3 tech,
no doubt.
but he's just not the dude you want, as your 3 tech.
Yeah. So here he is again this is we call it a 3 tech, outside shoulder of the guard, right? He's right here. Okay.
Yep.
Let's watch the play. Double team, getting kind of pushed off the ball. Watch the shed. Great job, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
he doesn't allow himself to get washed out of a play. That's something that comes with experience, I think. A lot of guys will get blocked and they'll get blocked into oblivion and be looking backwards. Kenny's kind of like, he occupies a block and he's not intimidated by it. He's not gonna freak out and allow it to get him washed out of a play, and that's why he's able to kind of hang around and then still make a play on the ball carrier.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing they've worked on, just setting a better base. When they're engaging you, we just got to kind of hold that line, especially if we're going to be running this 4-3.
Yep. And that comes from experience. That comes from years of playing in the NFL. Not everyone gets that right away. I mean, Kenny Clark certainly didn't get that right away. That came with development and time. And, we're seeing that now. And I do think at times, down year or not, I think, as fans, we take Kenny Clark for granted sometimes because he's doing a lot of these little things that go unnoticed. And it really does help us.
Yeah. And again, he's not had a good year. Nobody's saying that. I know there's going to be some, Kenny's gone. Nobody's saying he's had a good year. We've looked at the numbers, but I'm telling you, you can't take a whole team, a whole defense, and everybody's pressure percentage drops significantly and not sit back and go hard. They're doing something different this year. It doesn't mean at times they don't pin their ears back and go, right?
Yep.
But they're definitely keying in on the run a little bit more. And probably, again, focused on, hey, try to protect the rush lane integrity when it comes to the quarterback potentially scrambling, take away some of the throwing lanes. And what's the benefit from that? You're forcing the quarterback to throw the football, right? While not allowing him to get great looks, you're trying to take away throwing lanes, and you're really minimizing the running game. What happens? You end up being top 3, top 5 in takeaways. That's what happens. And thanks to, God, I can never remember the name. I got so many names in my head here. I want to give a shout out to somebody, and then we're going to hit the chat real quick and get out of here. We're way over. In our Patreon group, Joshua Dodge, keeping up with this on Chalk Talks, we're now up to 12 interceptions on the year, okay, with Keyshawn Nixon's interception this year. 10 in zone coverage, only 2 in man coverage. It's absolutely huge. So let's go to the chat real quick. Also, scan the QR code in the upper right if you want to join our Patreon group. Appreciate everybody in there. We're going to be giving away this week an autographed Lukas Van Ness jersey. Okay. Autographed Lukas Van Ness jersey. It's going to be a Beckett-style jersey. Autographed. Got the certificate of authenticity. Came from pristineauctions.com. If you're a member of our Patreon group, one of the 3 tiers, you got to be a member of one of the 3 tiers that get you access to all of our chats in there, all that good stuff. And again, if money's tight and you just, hey man, I just want to be a part of the group, that's what the cheapest one's there for. That's what we were going to do in the first place. But we had people reach out and go, hey, I want to donate more. So we created a couple more for those that wanted to help the channel a little bit more. Also, if you're a YouTube member, that will get you in that drawing as well. So we will spin the wheel in the post-game show after the Seahawks game and give away that autographed Lukas Van Ness jersey. Appreciate everybody in there. All right, let's go rapid fire real quick from the chat. M. Smitty 1386 says, unable to find anything credible on the Hussey being suspended. Got it, buddy. And then Ron Sample said that was from that stupid NFC North site that spews BS. Ron, that Twitter account has gotten everybody on this show right now, I promise you. It's gotten every one of us at some point. So
How dare you?
Holmes in the chat, I got deep faked about the thefts. I guess. So there you go. Number 1 Packer fan. I get sick of YouTubers and Twitter experts recycling rhetoric that Gary is struggling. What if he is doing what he is being asked to do, and that's the result? A freaking man. Yep. Prince in the chat. Hopper couldn't be any worse than McDuffie in coverage. He used to be a safety. It is kind of strange. It's kind of strange, as banged up as we are, that we haven't seen more Hopper. But again, against the Dolphins, McDuffie, pretty damn good football game.
I think we might still have PTSD from the Tariq Carpenter experience, the old linebacker to safety to linebacker. I don't know. I think they're a little hesitant.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's true. I just would rather him. I'd rather see Hopper get burned on a Texas route because I know McDuffie gets. I mean, like, you know what I mean. That's all I'm asking.
Right. You want to see it to believe it.
I just need to know. Give me visual proof, and then we can move on.
I just need you to tell me that you're done with me. That's what I don't need to wonder. Fred McFarlane in the chat says, when we say we need a 3-tech, are we saying Brooks, Wooden, and White are not the answer? As of right now, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That could change, right? But based off of what we've seen so far, like Carl Brooks is our highest graded defensive lineman, okay? Here we are. We're going to go way over. I just want to hit it real quick. I apologize.
No, I think it's so true, though. Brooks, Wooden, and Wyatt may not be the answer. They're options. They are definitely viable options, but I don't know if there's a bona fide 3-tech.
Let me give you an example here. Carl Brooks, right? He's our highest graded defensive lineman, and he falls in the 48th spot. So he's the 48th highest graded defensive lineman in the league with minimum requirements checked off. So you kind of filter that up a little bit. He's the 48th highest graded according to PFF. His pressure percentage, 4.8%. That's not your 3-tech of the future. Yep. As of right now. That could change, but as of right now. Kobe Wooden, 6.8%. That's just a touch over top of Kenny Clark currently. Devontae White, 8.6%. But like we pointed out, Devontae White is somewhat of a liability in the run game. Like when you find Devontae White on the PFF grade list, Kobe Wooden's a 50.6. And where's Devontae White? TJ Slayton's a 43.6. So Devontae White was slightly higher, right? Let's see here. Let me find Devontae White. He is thick. He's a 59.4 overall. So when you take all things into consideration, again, I'm not saying that Devontae White can't be a good pass rusher and Carl Brooks can't be a good run stuffer. But that's not what you're looking for in that dominant 3-tech. You're looking for a dude that's going to do it both. And the only way you're going to find that dude is if you continue to swing and try to find that guy in the draft. Or like we talked about, maybe you go in free agency this year and you go, you know what? Let's kick a little bit of the money down the road. Let's do a couple of restructures, free up some cap now, and go get someone like last year's Christian Wilkins that was on the market, right? And I don't even know what Christian Wilkins has been this year. But the reality is going into free agency – for the last 2 years, he was one of the best 3-techs in all of football. That's what you got to do. And I'm okay with overspending for great. You just never want to overpay for good. You're always willing to overpay for great. So that's what we're saying there, Fred. Again, it's early. Those dudes may pop. We may come back next year and go, hey, we got two true 3-techs. I hope that's the case. But right now we can't say that. Chris in the chat says, love what you guys do. Thanks for doing this every day. I need this. Hey, buddy, we appreciate you, Chris. It's a lot of fun, man. You guys are what makes this show great. No doubt. The interaction we got in the chat is, again, it's Packer fan total access. It's not Clayton total access. It's not Emilio, Tim. It's Packer fans coming together and talking about the crap that actually matters and not going on Twitter and being casual fans and spewing off nonsense and just joining the old. Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. Biz 1987 said the improvement in run D this year has been great to see. I'm not as observant as most, but this D seems to usually play with more explosive demeanor. It's definitely something's different this year.
Hands to the ball too, definitely.
Yes, That's the big thing. Yep. Coach Lynn in the chat, wow, that's awesome. Had not noticed Wyatt on the edge standing up. That's what I like to see. Very, very creative.
That ain't no problem.
Well, thank you, Coach F. Daryl in the chat says, I think it's cool how someone will get a LVN autographed jersey. Somebody will get lucky. Yes, like I said, Daryl, it's just a way for us to give back to those who are supporting the channel. So it's our pleasure for sure. Shout out to Darren Johns becoming a member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, buddy. And Biz1987 become a YouTube member. We'll make sure that you guys are on that Larry McCarron pinky wheel as we look to give away that LVN jersey come Sunday night. I got to get the cards mailed out. One thing about doing all the giveaways, I'm trying to do it just once a month with mailing the stuff out. So I appreciate y'all being patient. We don't get down to the post office much. So we'll get those sent out in the next couple of days for sure. But you guys got anything else, fellas? Anything at all?
Happy birthday to my pops. Happy birthday, Dad.
Hey,
celebrating a birthday today out in Vegas, doing it big. And shout out to my cousin Michelle too. It's her birthday as well. So happy birthday, family.
Birthday. Tim's just like Bates. Sometimes that site got Bates' dad a few times. He said he had to bring him up to speed on the internet. You'll have that, man.
That's terrible.
Clayton had to do it to me.
He not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
All right, guys, we're out. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll be back in the morning at 8:30 Central Time for Good Morning Lambeau. apologize for the inconvenience this morning. I know we had a bunch of people ready for the show. It was definitely on StreamYard's end. I usually don't like to blame other people, but in this case, it was StreamYard's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Everybody have a wonderful evening.
Then we go.
Bye, guys.